This device here is Lenovo's Legion 9i. It's the craziest and most powerful and most ambitious laptop that they have right now. But see, years ago, Lenovo sucked at making gaming laptops. But then in like 2019, they figured it out and they started making really good stuff. And now they have some of the best devices on the market. So they have like the Legion 5 family. These are really good mid-tier products. Everyone loves them. And then at the top end, they have the Legion 7 products. Awesome stuff. And I think the reviews, they're really good. But then recently, someone at Lenovo thought, we need to raise the bar. We gotta take it to the next level. But the thing is, when you already make one of the best gaming laptops available on the market, the Legion 7 Pro, you gotta dig really deep into that bag of laptop innovation to try to make something that's actually better. And when you dig that deep, the lines between innovation and gimmicks, they start to blur. So this Legion 9i has a forged carbon fiber finish where they take these flakes of carbon fiber and they set it into this resin, and all these little bits and pieces, because of their different lengths and widths and different angles, it just plays with the light in a very interesting pattern. And so every one of these devices is gonna have a different top panel, but it's just for aesthetics. It doesn't have any kind of structural advantage from what I'm seeing. Now, this forged carbon fiber looks quite different from the more commonly seen carbon fiber weave that we see on the Dell XPS devices, but how much you appreciate it is very subjective. Personally, I think it's very neat looking, but I don't know if I'd want my personal device to look like this. But at the very least, it's like this subtle way of just flexing the device that you have. Because if you're a sweaty laptop nerd like myself, you see someone with this finish, come on, immediately it's the Legion 9i, because there's nothing else quite like this. But if Lenovo's trying to make something extra special, they have to tackle performance, right? The thing is, in 2023, it is very difficult to be the best performing laptop because every player in this space right now is making really good devices. They all have RTX 4090s that can run at 175 watts. They're all properly cooled. They're all reasonably thin and light. Everyone's making amazing top tier devices. And if you're digging in that bag of laptop innovation, you got to come up with something, right? So Lenovo did the world's first integrated water cooler for laptops. So there's no external pumps or radiators. It's all built within this system. And on top of that, they're running a triple fan setup. So it all sounds amazing, right? RTX 4090 at 175 watts. You got the 13980HX top of the line CPU. We have a integrated water cooler. We have a 3-fan setup. Let's take a look inside. So this here is an early sample of the thermal solution they're using. On the top, we have the 2 big fans, the left and right, and then we have the smaller fan underneath the WASD keys. But up here is a little device that's housing the water pump. So this pump was designed in collaboration with Cooler Master, and when the system hits 84 degrees Celsius, that pump is supposed to activate and it's supposed to pump water or liquid through that loop. Now, just a quick look at this pump because I was curious and cracked it open. It's a small centrifugal pump and it looks to be pushing 10 milliliters of fluid, maybe even less. It's not a lot, but it is legit. There's clearly something that's moving in there and it's capable of pushing liquid around. Now, when I flip this thing over, you can see that the copper pipes of the liquid cooler are actually sitting directly on top of the video memory, like these little things that are covered in pink. That's what this loop does. The cooler water runs through, it tags the hot VRAM, and it goes back into the pump. So when I look at this, I'm like, this is neat, right? Because VRAM, it gets really hot. That stuff can hit 100 degrees pretty readily, and when you have some kind of system to cool it, that should help, right? But then as I looked into this, I thought, wait a minute. How is this really working? Because sure, it's picking up heat from the VRAM, but when it goes back into the pump, there's nothing special that's cooling the loop. It's just the regular heat pipes that are pulling the heat off of that water loop, and then the system fans are exhausting the heat. And I thought, wait a minute, what is the point of this water loop then? The traditional water cooler on a desktop, you have your water block that makes contact with something hot, like the CPU or GPU, and then you have this radiator, so the liquid will be pumping it around, but then you have this radiator and you have this fan that connects right up to the radiator, and you're cooling the liquid that is being heated up by that device, right? And even with laptop water cooling, they have some devices out there. This one here is the one from Electronics. It's their new one. This is so cool. They have a magnetic system this time. It's literally just connected magnetically. But the cold water will come through the system into the laptop, get heated up, come out, and then it goes into this box that has a radiator and a fan, and it cools down that liquid. It works very well. But this system, the Lenovo Legion 9, doesn't have any of that. This is a self-contained liquid loop. And the one thing they've done is made a very small water pump. Like, it's super compact, gotta give them credit for that. That must have been difficult. But the actual loop itself seems, it's very short for one, and then the pump is so small, the flow rate must be quite weak. So I needed to run some benchmarks. The first thing I noticed is that the Legion 9i does run a little cooler than the Legion 7 Pro. And I would say it's consistent, but it's just like 2 or 3 degrees. But then I realized I can physically disable the liquid cooling. Like, I can unplug that pump and it will no longer circulate that liquid around. And so now I should be able to test to see if it's actually doing anything. So I unplugged it and the laptop performed almost the exact same way. The only difference that I could spot is that when the pump was active, the VRAM temperature would peak in like 2.5 minutes, and when the pump was disabled, it would hit that temperature a lot faster, in like 40 or 50 seconds. So my conclusion was that the water loop didn't seem to be doing anything significant. Now, keep in mind that my testing here is crude. I don't have access to be able to like replace that water loop with like a solid piece of copper to really determine more data, but it just seemed like the vast majority of that improved performance, thermal performance on the 9i comes from the triple fan setup. But the consequence of running a triple fan setup like this is that they've had to shift the keyboard down. So those 2 large fans you saw earlier, they're positioned here and here. These will blow the air through the system like pass through, and it's able to bypass the keyboard because there's nothing there, and it just blows the hot air straight up top and then out the back as well. It's excellent airflow. It gets rid of heat quickly. But with this lowered keyboard, the ergonomics of this whole device have shifted. For one, their trackpad is a lot smaller. It's a great trackpad, but it's shrunken. Not everyone cares about it, but if you do, it is a small trackpad. But the typing experience does take time to get used to. Now, I will say, for a sunken keyboard or for a dropped down keyboard, it's very good. I think Lenovo they've engineered this in a manner so they've taken that into consideration. They expect people to be using these keyboards right off the laptop, and it feels good like that. But I would always prefer a regular keyboard layout over this. There's something about how your wrist is kind of like half off the palm rest that just, it's not the best. So if you look at the Legion 7 Pro, this is just like a more normal layout. When you have your hand on it, it just, your wrist is supported, right? You're just, no matter how big your hand is, the vast majority of your hand is gonna be sitting here. On the 9i, because it's kind of sunken down like that, and I don't have like giant hands or anything, but when I'm typing on it, it's off. So that's the trade-off. You have to do something like this if you're gonna have pass-through airflow that goes right through the system. Now, in terms of the keyboard itself, it is absolutely awesome. I do think that Lenovo makes the best keyboards in the laptop business. I don't like the number pad, but that's just a personal thing. But in terms of the actual typing experience, it's bingo. It does come with a set of ceramic keycaps, which are kind of cool to look at, but I did not enjoy how they worked. So you can just swap them out. They're very easy to swap in and out, but these are ceramic, and ceramic, at least this iteration of it, is a very slippery material, and it's like this slick surface that I didn't particularly like typing on, but some people might like the look of it. Now, in terms of the screen, this is a mini LED panel. It's 3200 by 2000, 165 hertz. It's beautiful to look at. It's super bright, but I think it's too high resolution. I think for a gaming panel on a 16-inch device, having this many pixels is just too pixel dense, and it's wasted resources for the GPU to pump out that many pixels, and it's just a lot of resolution for your eyes. You're not making use of it. I am surprised they went with this for a device that's geared for gaming. I think any serious gamer, anyone looking at a device like this, would rather use a QHD panel, like the thing they have on their regular Legion 7 Pro. I have a feeling that they did this, they went with the higher resolution just for the paper specs, so that when you compared it side by side to the 7 Pro, this would somehow look better. And I wish they hadn't done that. It just doesn't make sense to me to have such a high resolution screen on a 16-inch gaming device. All right, in terms of power supplies, so they give you 2 of them. There's a 330 watt as well as a 140 watt. This is obviously like the maximum effort gaming. You plug this up, go full blast, and then this thing is for, for travel or for work or for school. If you want something a little bit lighter for your payload, you can pick this thing up and travel with it. But my overall thoughts on this device, you see, there's nothing wrong inherently with this product. It really was the marketing that got to me, and just the whole idea of like what they were trying to do. If the water cooling was more effective, I'd be all about this. Or the thing that kills me is like, if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna draw attention to the fact that you're the world's first world's first integrated liquid cooled system, it should be like, there should be benefits to it, like obvious benefits to it. And it just seemed gimmicky to me. And the other thing is that with that water-cooled system, you've now introduced a component that can have like mechanical failure. It could leak. Like the pump could stop working. It's definitely more heavy. It's definitely more expensive. This system is $1,000 more than an equivalently equipped Legion 7 Pro. 1,000. And you're just getting, I guess, the carbon fiber lid. It's a little bit lighter. It's like 230 grams from my measurements, a little bit lighter than the Legion 7 Pro, fractionally thinner, and the water pump. But the performance is largely the same. Like, I'm not even gonna use the word largely. The performance is the same. And if you're gaming, and if you're actually like an enthusiast gamer and you're looking for the best gaming experience, it wouldn't be this one. It would be the Legion 7 Pro or any of the other kind of high-end top-tier devices for that best gaming experience, just because of the screen and the keyboard. This thing, I mean, if you are gonna be plugging it up to peripherals, you got monitors, keyboards, and you're just using it for the components like the CPU, GPU, sure, but yeah, that's my take on it. Okay, the Legion 9i. To me, it feels like Lenovo is trying too hard. This is like some super luxurious, high-end, almost artisanal laptop, and it comes at the cost of the actual gaming experience. It does detract from that actual gaming experience. In their defense, considering that extra $1,000 that this costs over the 7 Pro, it's not that much more. Like, it's so much, but at the same time, if you consider like if Razer made a forged carbon liquid-cooled laptop, I could see $9,000. Like, actually, it would be crazy. So an extra $1,000 for all this, sure. If you want to flex this look, sure. But if you're looking for that top tier game experience, there's other devices, not this.